and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a tag video, but it's going to be music themed. I have had quite a few requests for like a music video, music recommendation, so I thought I'd start off with a music tag. It has 13 questions. I haven't prepared a lot of these answers, so we're just going to see how this goes, but it's called the 13 questions music tag, so that's what we're going to do today. So hopefully this helps you maybe get some recommendations or just get to know me a little bit better. So if you like the sound of that, do subscribe, keep on watching, and I will get straight into the questions. The first one is, which bands or artists do you have the most albums from? I've got a few. I did look this up before because otherwise I'd be scrolling through my phone for ages, but I've got 8 to 11 albums by Evanescence. I have 11 by them. They're like my top one that I have the most of. Not really surprising. Second is And One. Absolutely love them. Skillet, 3 Days Grace, and the Ravenettes. I think that was all of them. So there's 5 there, all very different. I will say that my music is very varied. I don't really, I don't listen to rap at all. I might have like one country song, but usually I don't like country. I usually like kind of rock music, alternative music, musical soundtracks, movie soundtracks, like quite the variety. But yeah, so those are my top 5 artists and bands I have the most music from. Question 2, what was the last song you listened to? So the last song I listened to, it was one that was trending on TikTok, and it's called High Enough, in brackets slowed, and I can't play any of the music unfortunately due to copyright, but this is what the album looks like. It says Slowed Reverb Songs, and it's by K.Flay. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but that's what the album looks like. It's a bit random. Like, the way I discovered the song is really weird. So like, I got really quickly obsessed with the Underworld DVDs, and people were making like edits of all of the characters, and there was one and it had that song in the background, and I was like, what is that song? So then I went on a mission of trying to find it, and then I found it. So now I have it as like, it's one of my newer pieces of music I've downloaded, and I really like it. So that's the last song that I listened to. They also do like a quicker paced one, which I also really like, but that's the last song that I listened to. The third one is, what was the last concert you attended? So I haven't actually been to a music concert. I know, very sad. I've been to a lot of musicals and seen like live music that way, like Phantom of the Opera, 42nd Street, Little Shop of Horrors. Like, I've been to a lot of like that where I've heard live music, but not really like artist and band wise. I do actually have Evanescence tickets, which I had from like March 2020, but then because of the whole lockdown thing, it kept being pushed back, and now I think it's November of this year, so hopefully I will be going to that, and that will be like my first proper concert, and they're the people who I want to see the most. The music I have the most of is definitely from like my baby back days, and like when I was first discovering the type of music I liked, and Evanescence have stayed consistently one of my favorites. I don't care what anyone else says, I love Evanescence, so I'd love for them to be the first like band and artist that I see live. So yes, that's the hopefully first one that I will be attending. Question 4, what's the most musically involved you've ever been? So I have been quite musically involved. Most people, when they start kind of junior school, they learn to play the recorder, so that's kind of how I got into music. And then I played the tenor recorder, which is the like the huge one, so then I went on to playing that, and I think that's how I read bass clef, I believe. I don't know, it might be in treble clef, but that could be in bass because it is more of like a bass recorder. But then in kind of around year 4, I started to learn the cello. I can still play the cello, and then I also got involved in orchestras, so I played in my local string orchestra and then my local whole orchestra with like everything, and I did that for probably like 7 years, and I played in concerts, I played in the Royal Albert Hall with that orchestra, I went on trips to like Germany with that orchestra, so I've definitely been musically involved. I am around grade 8 standard on the cello, and I also learnt the piano for a short time too. I'm not sure if I can still really play it, but it was actually Amy Lee from Evanescence that inspired me, because I love the piano part in her music, so I have been quite musically involved. Question 5 is one I've already kind of answered. It's, who is one band or artist you've never seen live but always wanted to? It would be Evanescence, because they're the kind of group that introduced me to all of like the alternative music, I would say, and I kind of discovered everyone from them, but they were definitely my favourite. I used to have a poster of them on my wall. I've just always loved their music. They are the ones that I would love to see live, and hopefully will. Number 6, I'm not sure if I really have an answer for. What is your favourite band shirt? I don't have a band shirt. I actually used to have a Black Veil Brides one when I was a lot younger, but that's been the only band shirt that I've actually owned. I always remember I wanted a 3 Days Grace one and an Evanescence one, but I never got around to buying it. So the only band t-shirt that I've had is a Black Veil Brides one. I also used to have a poster of them as well. So I don't really have a band shirt. That was the only one I used to own. Number 7, what musician would you like to hang out with for a day? Probably Amy Lee. I swear, like, all of these answers are literally going to be Evanescence for every single one, but I'd say she like inspired me the most, so I would say her. It'd be interesting to see like what she's like, and because I've never been to concerts, I've never met musicians or artists or bands or anyone in person, so I think that would be cool to hang out with her for the day. The next one is, who is one musician or group you wish would make a comeback? The only group I could kind of think of for this, because a lot of groups I know have kind of split up, but I was never really into their music to begin with, or I like a few songs, so yeah, I wouldn't really say them. But the only thing I can think of is, I used to absolutely love 3 Days Grace. I still like them, but I'm not as into their music as I used to be. But their main singer, called, I think it's Adam someone, he left the group and now they have a new lead singer, and like the music's still okay, but I really liked their first albums, like is it the 1X album? Like, I love that, and he's the main singer, so I kind of wish he'd come back to the group and they would have him as the main singer, because I really like preferred their music when he was the lead singer. This is going to be a tough one. Question 9, name 4 or more flawless albums. This is so difficult. I'm gonna have to scroll for this. I will say the Body Pop album by And1 is one of my absolute favorites. I love it so much. This is what the cover looks like. It's like a orange one with a woman sign. I think nearly all of the songs on that album. I absolutely love it. I also like all 3 of the trilogy albums by them. Like, I can put on that album and just kind of like do my makeup, and I don't have to skip songs because I like the majority of the songs. So that is Magnet, Propeller, and there's another one, Ukten. It's like a German word, but there are 3 albums in like the trilogy, and those are the names of them, so I really like those. For some reason Apple Music doesn't have them, so I don't have them on my phone. I have to have them downloaded, but I really love all 4 of those And1 albums. I also love the Repo album. I literally have most of the songs on there. It's from the film Repo the Genetic Opera, and it looks like that. It's got like the Repo Man on it. Absolutely love that album. I have, again, most of the songs, and there's quite a lot in that one. It goes from like there to there. Again, like, I could just put that on and listen to it, and I really like it, so that's another flawless album. Obviously, I have to mention Evanescence because we are mentioning it for every single question. I love the Fallen album. It's their best one. Like, it's got all of their best songs. It's got Bring Me to Life, which people either absolutely love or they've just heard it like way too many times. I still love it. My Immortal, Hello, Going Under. Like, it's got some of the ones that people would listen to and recognize. It's kind of one of them more well-known ones. But I also like, I think it's literally just called the Evanescence album. It's like black and has like a purple kind of mystical thing on it, but I think it's literally just called Evanescence, and I love that album as well. I also love the Lost Whispers album. I completely missed that when I was first like getting into Evanescence, and I love that album. It's more kind of like slow, it's not as kind of like upbeat and rock as the other ones, I would say, but I really like that album too. Again, flawless. A lot of the albums I kind of have like one song from, so I can't really recommend it from one song. Oh my gosh, Mono Ink, how have I forgotten them? They would 100% be in the first question, like what I have the most albums from. I haven't listened to them in a while, but I have so many albums from them. I have 7 albums, so that's still quite a lot, and I have literally all of the songs nearly from those albums, so I do really like them. I also love the Phantom of the Opera album. I don't have all of the songs, but I do have quite a few. Huge Phantom of the Opera fan, so I do really like that album. And I'd say maybe one of the last ones, I'll see if I have any more, In and Out of Control by the Ravenettes. Like, I have a lot of their songs on this. For some reason, sometimes it splits up my albums if I've downloaded them, so although I have the whole album, it shows that I only have half of it and one and half of the other, which is a bit strange, but I do have a lot of those songs and I really like that album too. Another album is Midnight by Set It Off. They are definitely like alternative, almost like alternative pop music, but still kind of dark sounding. I feel like the lead singer's voice is very recognizable. Like, I always, as soon as I hear that song, I'm like, yep, it's Set It Off. So that's what this album looks like. It's kind of like an hourglass, and I do have a lot of music on this one. Unleashed by Skillet, this is what this one looks like, so you can find it a bit better. I do have a lot of songs by them. The 1X album, of course, I haven't listened to it in a while, but I have all of the songs on that album. It's like these paper chain men, and this is kind of like original 3 Days Grace with the original singer. My last one is not really like artist and band like, but if you love dramatic instrumental music, like say if you just need a task done and you're like, I need something to motivate me and get me in the mood, I love the Invincible album from 2 Steps from Hell. They make a lot of trailer music. They actually made the trailer music for Twilight. I don't know if it was made for that or just whether they use that song for it, but they do a lot of really dramatic trailer music, which I absolutely love. I have a lot of songs by them, and their album is kind of like a night mask kind of thing. Absolutely love this album. If you like kind of more instrumental, dramatic music to motivate you, then yeah, I would say that. So those are my flawless albums. Right, question 10. How many music related videos / DVDs do you own? What is a music related DVD? What does that even mean? Does that mean like how many films that are musical, like Sweeney Todd? Out of the ones I own, like in my bookcase, not my family's ones, I have Repo, Sweeney Todd, Phantom of the Opera, The Nightmare Before Christmas, so that's 4. They all like sing in those ones, so I'm assuming that's what that question means. Bit of a strange one, never mind. Question 11, what is your favourite music soundtrack? So this is kind of from films. I really like the music from Stranger Things. I'm watching season 4 right now, and the music in it is really good. Like, it's like 80s music, and they have the kind of Stranger Things soundtrack. Like, I really like that. I also like some of the Cirque du Soleil music, like the Lanuba album. It's very strange and kind of circusy sounding, but I do really like it, and that's what the album looks like. This little like clown looking girl. I have seen Cirque du Soleil and it was really good, so there's that. Alice in Wonderland soundtrack, of course. Corpse Bride soundtrack, Nightmare Before Christmas, Repo again. Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack. I definitely prefer like their older soundtracks, like Dead Man's Chest and the original one. Like, I have a lot of songs from them. I absolutely love those ones. Sweeney Todd again. Some of these are quite repetitive, but I really love the music in that from the film. I'd say my favourites are probably like, again, Repo, Pirates of the Caribbean soundtracks. I absolutely love that. Phantom of the Opera, that kind of thing. So I'd say those are like my favourites out of the ones that I listed. Question 12. What was your last musical phase before you wisened up? From the answer I've read on like their blog post, it's kind of like the music phase that you cringe about. I'd say I used to listen to a lot more emo music than like, especially more than goth music when I was like first starting out. As I said, I listened to a lot of Black Veil Bride, so maybe them. But saying that, I do still have 2 songs maybe on my phone from them, but I used to have like a lot of their albums and I used to really be into them, but I don't really listen to them as much. Yeah, so I would say maybe Black Veil Brides, because I did used to listen to a lot of their music and now I don't really listen to it. I might have like a throwback when I listen to one of their songs, but I don't really listen to it on like a daily or weekly or monthly basis, so maybe them. Finally, question 13. What's your guilty pleasure that you hate to admit to liking? I do like this one. I do have a few, and a lot of these like I've heard on Instagram Reels, like they're trending music, and I've liked that, so I've downloaded it from that. I'll give you 3, I think. Let me find them. Number 1, On the Floor by Jennifer Lopez. I know. Don't judge me. That's what the album looks like. Very like pop music, very like trendy. That was trending on Reels and I just thought it was catchy, so I have it. Guilty pleasure. So that's the first one. Second one, When I Grow Up by the Pussycat Dolls. Again, I know, embarrassing. But I do really like that, and it's like a, not a powerful song, but you just feel like, yes, I can do that. So that's number 2, and number 3 is one by Rihanna. It would either be Man Down or S&M, I think is how you say the name of that song. I think that's it. So yes, those are my 3, kind of 4 songs that are definitely my guilty pleasure. So yes, don't judge me. But that was the 13 questions for the music tag. I thought this might be a bit quicker, but never mind. Do let me know in the comments, what is your favourite song or favourite song you're listening to at the moment? Because I always find it so difficult to pick a favourite song. So do leave me your favourite song in the comments, and also your guilty pleasure song, because I would be interested to read your comments about that. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and subscribe if you did, and hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye.